Yo, what's up guys? So today I'm gonna be doing a tutorial on how to make Dark Southside Palace loops. So let's get to it. So the first element of the loop is this pad. And the sound comes from Spitfire Albion Solstice, and it's the string evos, which is basically pads. So basically what I did is I put this pad in a slicer. So I put pattern 1, which is just these basic chords, into the slicer. So whenever I chop it up, it would be fine. So it's just super basic chords. It would click right here if I didn't add any reverb. So that's why I have this automation for the reverb. It's just to avoid the click right here. Next step, I added this sound. I think it's a pad. So this sound is from Oliver Patrice. It's called Vocal Meditation Trio Chant. And without any effects, it sounds like this. So basically what I added here is bit crusher, some reverb, a kickstart for the sidechain, basic EQ just cutting out the lows, and S1 imager just panning it a little bit to the right. So together this would sound like this. So it is missing like a call. This is the response. Then I decided to add this flute, which is just an abbreviated part of a later on where I use a flute section, and it worked really well. So if I would show the flute, this is the flute. And it comes from Pam Pipe Lobe, Andy Finden Kit Bag, producer portfolio. And a cool thing I do for all my contacts is I try to remove all the reverb and then add my own reverb. I just think it sounds cleaner because sometimes the reverbs on the plugins is not the best. So you just want to do that. So then I just added a couple of automations for the delay and then the bit crusher just so it sounds a little bit cooler. Fills in the gaps. So there's just a preamp making it louder. Again, the delay, the bit crusher, capital chambers, reverb, just EQ, basic EQ, and then again I have this just a little bit to the left. Together, it would sound like this. When I finished this, I still thought it was missing one sound, so I added this little texture sound. And that too comes from the same Oliver Patrice Spitfire bank that I used to chant from. It's called Toy Piano. Really cool preset. What I ended up doing with it is, so I put a chorus on it, but not all the way. I turned down the wet a little bit. I added a lot of delay, bit crusher almost all the way, just to give it a little bit of crunchiness. I used this reverb by UAD. It's a plate reverb. I EQ'd it twice because there were some low frequencies that were going through because of the bit crusher. I automated the width so it kind of goes bigger as you're getting into the loop. Together, all these sounds would sound like this. So for the B section, the only differences are I pitched this one up 12 semitones and these as well, just to add a little bit of difference. I took out the detuned pads and I just added another texture right here, but I pitched it down 12 semitones. Kind of a response to the first texture. And then in the C section, I added this flute, which is just a full Pvlace that I was going to use in the beginning, but I ended up using it later. So again, it just has the same automations, just a little bit different on the delay because there's like more notes in here, so I don't need to fill it up as much. So as well as I added this reverb automation just to give it a little bit more room on a couple of spots over here. And then it just repeats itself. For the master, it's super basic. An ATR 102, which is a tape emulation. Ozone imager this time, just on the modern width preset. Another imager, just making it even more wide. Basic low cut EQ. And then an Edison where I just recorded the loop in. The finished product sounds like this. And another cool thing I like to do, just to test it out, is this on the right note? Probably not. But I like to add drums on top of my loop just to see if it works. So. And this concludes the video. I hope you guys found some interesting parts in this. I'll be dropping these weekly or even sooner, depending on when I finish it. My computer just got fixed, so I'm really going to be pumping these out because now I can actually load Streamlabs while I'm making a loop. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Like, share, and subscribe, and see me in the next one.